What's happening, everybody? I'm Steve, and welcome back to Junk Drummer TV, where I give my analysis, my hot takes, and my reactions to the drummers of today and yesterday, and maybe tomorrow if I stick around that long. I'm a professional drum teacher and a gigging musician, and I have been for the last 20 plus years. Today's drummer is probably the least known drummer in my home country of America. Now, if you're English or from the Isles, he's a legend. It's Pete Thomas from Elvis Costello and the Attractions, and Elvis Costello and the Imposters. And actually, even on the solo Elvis Costello records, he still used Pete Thomas. If you can't tell from that, I am, and my glasses, I'm a gigantic Elvis Costello fan. I think he's maybe the top 5 coolest human beings of all time. Now, today's selection has nothing to do with what's going on at all. It's just one of my all-time favorite songs. Now, today is not a react video. It's not a classic react video. We'll be analyzing this because I know this song quite well. It's a wonderful sentiment and one of the best songs ever written, in my opinion. Now, Pete Thomas, he's one of those, he's pretty esoteric. You kind of have to really be in it to know and appreciate how great he is, because, he's just the Elvis Costello's backing drummer, but he's also one of the most, and has been, in-demand session drummers ever. Like John Paul Jones has used him. If you go on his Wikipedia and look up his discography, he's played with everybody, and he's just you'll see today, he's just everything that is right about a rock and roll drummer. Tom Waits said that Pete Thomas is just about the best rock and roll drummer in the world, and that's pretty high praise from a very, very awesome, cool cat in Tom Waits. So before we get into it, also, if you'll notice, I'm not on my usual react video set. It's because I did 14 lessons today, and I am too lazy. I am just too lazy to break all this shit down and move it over there. So we're just going to do it from my teaching nook. This is where I do my online lessons. Which reminds me, before we get into it, if you like what I'm doing, if you dig it, please and you think I've earned it, please give me a like, a comment, and a share. I also have a merch page, have a Patreon page. I have a PayPal option, and if you want to study with me, I am accepting online students. Just email me at junkdrummertv@gmail.com. So I am very excited to get into this song and to break this thing down for you all. Let's listen to Elvis Costello and the Imposters, because this doesn't have Bruce Thomas playing bass. It has the guy from Cracker playing bass. It isn't, they aren't the Attractions. This is the Imposters. And of course, because we love David Letterman so much, I use their performance from Letterman. Let's check out Pete Thomas, Elvis Costello, and a very pertinent question in our times. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Yeah, I've seen this clip before. Elvis is so cool, or such a egomaniac, which if you know anything about him, he kind of is. He actually introduces himself from Letterman's desk. So right there, that's the famous guitar lick from this. If you'll notice, he has a signature drum part that goes with that. This is a straight ahead, just kick-ass British rock and roll song. So there's not going to be any 7/4 today. There's not going to be any complex linear grooves. This is just going to be locomotive rolling down the tracks, kick-ass rock and roll. And every time that that lick of the song, he has this signature tom part that goes behind it. Just machine gun drum fills, man. This song doesn't need anything fancy. It just needs just pushing the train along. You know, that tigga-digga-dot, crack drum fill right there. That's just perfect. That's just perfect rock and roll. And the thing about Elvis, and especially from what this song comes from the era of Elvis, is, you know, if you know anything about British music, and if you watch my channel, you know that I'm a huge Anglophile, which is probably a pretentious way to put it. I love all things British. There's a TARDIS license plate right there that you can't see. That poster right here, for you British listeners, that is an original full-page advertisement from NME from what was My Aim Is True, I think, came out in 77, the year of our Lord 77, the same year that I was born. I think it was 77. That's how much I love Elvis Costello in this band. But again, you're just seeing what rock drumming is supposed to do, and it is to propel. And Pete Thomas is propelling at all times during the song. You know, I'm sitting at the drum set. I can actually show you this part because I know this. I know this song. I've actually performed this song. I was in a band that, like, the one cover that we did was this song. So again, it's just kind of your regular. I've not even checked the volume on this. I don't know if this will be too loud. If this blows up this microphone, I'm very sorry. I'm going to turn it down a little bit just in case. But you know, it's just your standard, riding on the floor tom, but he's doing this thing, very interesting, subtle, not difficult thing on the top tom. He's going 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Right? Put the bass drum in there. Oh shit. Now that's very simple, meat and potatoes. But it serves as yet another hook. When I'm writing drum parts, I want to write drum parts that feel like hooks. So every time that part comes around, you know you're hearing the guitar riff, the main lick of the song. Now, Elvis didn't write this song. It's actually kind of it's kind of weird for brother Elvis, because probably his most famous song in America, I think his most famous song in England is Oliver's Army, which is very topical for English people if they know what that song is about. But this is his most famous song in America, and he didn't write it. This is written by Nick Lowe, who is another one of my all-time favorite artists. I'm a big pub rock fan, and pub rock was this scene in Britain that happened before and kind of during the beginning of punk, and it was like just these like raucous bar bands that played like kind of American flavored country and R&B, but with like a punky attitude. Like Elvis always thought, and the original Attractions, which we were looking at the Attractions minus the bass player. Here's a little side note. If you are a bass player in a band that breaks up for a little while, don't write a tell-all novel or book about it, because he may want to reconstitute that band, and he's not going to include you if you rip him in print, which is what happened to the original bass player of the Attractions. This is, of course, the Imposters. But Elvis and the original Attractions, he's a songwriter craftsman, but always has this really driving hard edge punk attitude about it. It's not the Damned, it's not, Sex Pistols, but that attitude was still in there. And Pete Thomas, you would never think of Pete Thomas as a punk rock drummer, but he has that attitude with his playing. I always love that, like the line, "Where is the harmony?" And there's no harmony parts. I think there's an artistic statement being made there, and it's a good question. Like, where is the harmony?
Sweet harmony, 'cause each time I feel it slipping away, just makes me wanna cry. What's so funny about peace, love, and understanding? Oh, what's so funny about peace, love, and understanding?
There's that signature Tom part.
My peace and love, just for the children of the new generation.
This band, no matter the bass player they have, and man, the bass player they have now is fucking great. The Attractions, the Imposters, Steve Naive, Pete Thomas, and Elvis on guitar is one of the all-time great rock and roll bands. Ooh, adding that little triplet feel right there. Ba da doo ba da da da. It's fucking cool. I don't think that's on the original. It's been a long time since I've heard the original recording of this. That's something new. Just some rapid fire machine gun drum fills, just pushing and prodding and being the engine room of this locomotive. And I would guess that if you were to put a metronome on this, I would guess that this tempo shifts here and there, and ain't nothing wrong with that. This is just pure emoting. Don't worry about the perfection of it. If you know about the way that they recorded, and they recorded their first 4 or 5 records with Nick Lowe, the writer of this song, and they call him Basher. His nickname is Basher because his attitude in the studio is just get it in, bash it out. Don't worry about perfection. Worry about the mojo of it. Worry about the feel of it. It doesn't matter if it's perfect. Does it make you feel something? And I think today's day and age with our computerized recording, hard disk recording, and we can make everything perfect. Some things don't need to be perfect. This doesn't need to be in perfect metronomic time. It needs to just rock and affect you in a certain way. And I should say it affects you in a way that's better than if it was everything in its right place, all this perfection. It's the Rolling Stone thing, right? Doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to fucking rock. Yeah, dude, I listen to Elvis regularly. He is on my regular playlists. I don't do playlists. I listen to records. He's always somebody that I come back to. And Pete Thomas's drumming is always just spot on, as the Brits would say. It's always just spot on. It's always perfect. It's never perfect, but it's always perfect. Now, obviously, I picked this song for a reason. And, we don't talk about politics around here. I always want this channel to be the place that you can come and to get away from all of that stuff. But I can tell you that what's going on in the world as a person who is in a deeply military family, as in everyone in my family is in the military except me. I could tell you this. I support this song and its mission statement, if you know what I'm saying. Keep practicing until it's easy.